How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at our buy, hold, and sell series, where we recommend players that you should buy for the upcoming game week, players that you should hang on to that are maybe on the fence as to whether you should get rid of them or not, and players that you should sell and get rid of out of your team as they are not going to be doing too well potentially in the future, have a bad run of fixtures, got injured, or just plain aren't doing what you want them to be doing for your FPL team. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel and we appreciate it, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any posts or streams or any FPL related news in general on all of our platforms, as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our preview or deadline streams. We will be having a deadline stream as per normal on Saturday, 1 hour before the FPL deadline. There'll be a pinned comment down below to give you the link and the details on that one. So without further ado, let's talk about our partners and the deal that they have only up until this Sunday coming, the 29th of August, and that's Fantasy Football Scout. We have partnered up with Fantasy Football Scout for this coming Fantasy Premier League season, and they're giving you an exclusive offer. Use the link down in the description to get 20% off your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It gives you access to the exclusive members area, which has new tools such as the 3-player comparison tool, as well as some old favorites such as the Rate My Team tool, the season ticker, and my personal favorite, the fully customizable stats tables, which you can share among other Fantasy Football Scout members, powered by Opta Stats. Use the link down in the description below to get 20% off your membership today. Sign up now. Now, last week when we did buy, hold, and sell, you didn't get to see this nice new little graphic that we have here. And this is to show how the players did that we chose for our respective buy, hold, and sell. So Mason Greenwood, we said to buy for the upcoming game week. He managed to get himself 10 points, the only double-digit score on the board here. He got one chance created. He had one shot inside the box, which wasn't even considered a big chance. The one he kind of scuffed and it went in the goal with a 0.27 XGI on the match. And he came away with 10 points. Mason Greenwood just seems to keep putting the ball in the back of the net no matter what type of chance he has. So I think Mason Greenwood was definitely a successful buy and is most likely going to be starting versus Wolves away in game week 3. So I would say keep him in your lineups. He's doing quite well. And, you know, people are speculating that Rashford, you know, he's back in training. He's going to be back soon. He's probably not going to be back for another 3 weeks to a month, almost certainly. He's just light training, doing jogging. He'll probably do that up and over the international break. He's not going to be on England duty either. So that's at least 2 to 3 weeks before he'll be back fully and working with the team in proper training. So you can hang out to Mason Greenwood up until after the international break, and then probably into the Newcastle game for game week 4. He'll probably play. Maybe Rashford will make a bench appearance or something like that, but he'll be safe for those, and then maybe look to get rid of him after that. But during that time, can definitely do some damage. Riyad Mahrez, we said to hold. Now, a lot of managers were worried. He was on the bench to start the game, but he came on, got himself a big chance, created a chance, got a shot in the box, 0.55 XGI, and came away with a goal for himself, getting himself 6 points. So Riyad Mahrez owners will definitely be happy. I think that if I had Riyad Mahrez right now, I'd hold him again. I'd play him versus Arsenal, potentially even be a captaincy option, and he could start from the beginning and cause some serious damage to Arsenal's defense, who did not bode well versus Chelsea. Now, Man City do not have a focal point like Chelsea do up front with the likes of Romelu Lukaku, but I think given the chance, they can put several past Arsenal's defense, as it is very susceptible. And with Kieran Tierney out, that's just one added loss that they could potentially cause a capitulation at the back, even more so than what already happened at the Emirates when they played. This game, I believe, is at Man City's ground at the Etihad, so that could be even more problems for Arsenal as they'll be away from home. And then lastly, we said to sell Diego Jota. Now, that was mainly due to the fact that his rotation, he could be a rotation risk, and he did get hooked off early again, but he did his damage before he came off the pitch, getting himself 2 big chances, 2 shots in the box with no chances created, but he did manage to put one of those away and score and get himself 8 points before he got taken off. So it's just a matter of, is he going to play? Won't he play? Like, I don't think he's going to play versus Chelsea, nor would you want him anyway. And I think just selling him last week, if you had gone for Mason Greenwood, you would have been up net 2 points. If you would have gone for Riyad Mahrez, you'd have been down 2 points and down a little bit of extra cash. But I think overall, Jota is going to be a rotation risk from now until basically the end of the season, or unless one of the front three is out injured and he's fully fit. So I think the sell was definitely right, although last week wouldn't suggest that. And we'll see how they do against Chelsea, who has the stingiest defense in the league, and they will be tested quite heavily. So with that being said, and we've seen our Game Week 2 picks and how they did, let's talk about our purchase for the week, and it's a big man up top for West Ham. And that's right, it is Mikhail Antonio, currently at 7.7 million. He's already gone up in price twice. He's almost 40% owned in the FPL game at the moment, and has 2 fantastic fixtures still to come, with Crystal Palace at home this week and Southampton away after the international break, where then his fixtures get a little bit more difficult versus Man United at home and Leeds away. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists on the season, 5 big chances total, and he's just absolutely ripping it up, averaging 4 shots inside the box per match, which is crazy, and his XGI is, I think it's the highest among anyone. The guy's just doing absolutely ridiculous numbers, is on fire. He talked about his diet and that sort of stuff after the game on Monday, and he's saying that he knows, he's not a spring chicken anymore. Basically, he needs to take care of his body better so that he can not be injured as much. So, and he says he's been feeling good. He hasn't felt his hamstrings or anything like that. So I think he is in great shape, great form, great confidence. Also broke, I believe it was DiCanio's record as well. So Antonio is looking quite strong. And at the start of the season, 7.5 million looked very cheap. And now he is fast. He's very fast indeed, rising in price. He could be 8 million by the end of the game week. We don't know, which will be a 0.5 million higher than what he started with. So I would say that is definitely significant to pay attention to. And I think with these sorts of players, when they have these kind of ridiculous stats, they could even be captain material, as we mentioned him on our captaincy video. So make sure to check that out as well. And he could definitely, as long as he stays fit, be in our teams as a season keeper potentially. We'll have to see kind of how that goes and monitor his fitness and monitor potentially his international duties for Jamaica. He hasn't, I don't believe, kind of chosen which nationality he's going to go for. I think it's either Jamaica or England, I think, are the two that he could potentially play for, but he have to be called up by Gareth Southgate. But I think Jamaica's been wanting to get a bunch of players that are kind of not necessarily Jamaican, but could fit into the team quite nicely, that don't necessarily have a national team or not get picked. And Antonio, as we know, didn't get picked for the Euros. But I think he's just a completely different type of player. He can play out wide left. He can play through the middle. He's got the number 9 on his back, and he's just an absolute nightmare to deal with. He's kind of like Traore in a way, where he's just an absolute just enigma. He's just way different than what you would normally see out there on the football pitch. He combines pace, power, and precision when he is in full flow, and makes it very difficult for defenders to deal with. And I would say an honorable mention for the buys this week would be Said Benrahma, who's also gone up by 0.2 as well, his partner in crime at the moment. There's still rumors that Jesse Lingard could join the team, but that I think would just move Said Benrahma out to the left hand side and have Fornals and Bowen fight out for the right hand side in the starting lineup. But I think Antonio, if you're going to get somebody this week, I think he's the main man. He could be a captaincy option this week, and his ownership is skyrocketing, so make sure to get on the deal while he's still 7 point something million, and before he starts going up into that 8+ million bracket. Now with that being said, let's take a look at our player who hasn't done much at all for his club in the first 2 weeks, but has a very good and tasty fixture that you probably hang him on for game week 3. And that player that you should hang on to is Harvey Barnes, somebody who had a very successful last campaign with Leicester City when he was fit. Obviously, you had that very terrible injury about halfway or so into the season and caused him to miss a large chunk of the remainder of the season, which made it ultimately that Leicester couldn't make the top four. But when he's fit and firing, he is a sight to behold. Very quick when running in behind, likes to dribble past players, although not at a very high rate, but can do it when he's in full flow. I think he's just kind of slowly working his way back up. The way Leicester have played in the opening two games doesn't fill me with confidence. I am personally a Barnes owner, one of the managers of that 9.8%. And he's already taken a price drop. He's 6.9 million. But the one kind of deciding factor to keeping him this week is that he does have Norwich away. Now, if he does show me something in that game, I'd be inclined to keep him versus Man City at home, as it is a home fixture. And then he would have Brighton and Burnley, which would be two easier fixtures. So if he shows me something or does really, really well against Norwich, his price might go right back up. He might blank in the Man City fixture, and then he could do well in Brighton versus Burnley. And I'm hoping that he does well versus Norwich so that we can keep him all the way up until around the Game Week 7, Game Week 8 wildcard time where the fixtures start to shift. Now, his numbers don't show anything great. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 big chances. 0 big chances created, only 1 chance created, only 1 shot inside the box with a .09 XGI. Not looking ideal for the Englishman, and I think he's going to need to step up his performances if he wants to make the, kind of the provisional squads, as it were, going into the World Cup, which is going to be in the winter time of 2022. Now, will he make it for the England team during this international break coming after this game week? Probably not, but you never know. He could, could have recency bias if he goes and bags a brace versus Norwich. Maybe Gareth Southgate says, "Come on, Harvey, we'll bring you along for the few games that we have over the international break." So I hope that he can get a goal for himself to bring up his confidence. I think Leicester have kind of struggled a bit with their identity. I would like to see them shift to a 3-4-3 style of system. I know they're a bit short at the back at the moment, but I think Harvey Barnes could play in a front three with Iheanacho and Vardy up there, or Daka and Iheanacho, or Vardy, Daka, and Harvey Barnes, and have one of those forwards kind of play on that right-hand side, basically. So I feel that Harvey Barnes could get the best out of them. Or even you could have Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy kind of playing as a front two and splitting, and then have Iheanacho kind of be the point man, where you send the ball into him, he then lays one of these guys in behind, and then Iheanacho makes those runs into the box, and they can either set Iheanacho up, who makes him a really good FPL asset because he's so good at finishing, but it also makes Barnes and Vardy very good providers as well, which they know that we are or have seen them be capable of in previous seasons. So I'm going to hang on to Barnes for the time being, just because the Norwich fixture was the main one in the opening three that we had earmarked him for to do quite well in. So hopefully he can do well in that. Now, with Barnes out of the way, we're going to talk about a player that I think you should sell for this game, because I just don't think that they're going to be needed in your FPL teams, although it looked very bright in preseason, and in the championship just hasn't lived up to the hype for this start of the season. And one player I forgot to mention on the hold list as an honorable mention will be Veltman. I think that you can hang on to him. He's probably going to price drop tonight at the time of recording, but all things considered, he's going to stay there. He's going to come back after the international break, and he's going to go straight back into the team, and he's not going to go into international duty, which means he's going to be fit, assuming he recovers A-OK. But the player that we think of selling this week should be Emmy Buendia, someone who I had in many of my drafts before game week 1. He's currently gone down to 6.4 million. He had fantastic stats in the championship, was getting goals, was getting assists, was basically carrying Norwich game in, game out. He's currently owned by 4% of the managers in FPL that have registered, but he's only created 3 chances, no goals, no assists, none of the major stats going on for him, and 0.13 XGI, just not really involved. He seems to be kind of more of the Jorginho type player, as it were, even though he kind of plays the number 10 role, often dropping a bit deeper and becoming the assist of the assister, which is not what you want in FPL. He does have a fixture versus Brentford, but I think you can get on better players in a one-off game week. You can go for the likes of Rafinha. You can go for the likes of even Ben Rama as an example, even though he's already gone up 0.2 as well. I think it's not too late to jump on him. I think even Ismail Assar from Watford could also be a good pick as well. If you wanted to get on Chelsea assets early and up, you know, have an extra million or so, you can go to the likes of Mason Mount, I think could do well. And, you know, if you just look at Buendia's fixtures, you know, he has Brentford, and if he does well, okay, sure. But then he has Chelsea, Everton, Man United. He's probably not going to do well in any of those, as Aston Villa haven't been creating too many chances for their front men. And Emmy Buendia hasn't been doing well either. And he's also been hooked early as well. He hasn't been playing 90 minutes. I think he got 60-odd minutes and then 70-odd minutes in his first 2 appearances, respectively. So I would say I would be getting rid of him. I'm glad that I went with Ben Rama when I saw that Atalanta preseason game versus West Ham. Buendia, again, he's my same reasoning why I didn't pick Ivan Toney. Both players coming up from the championship. Let's see what you got. If you start off good, then we can always jump on you later. Same thing I did with Patrick Bamford. He was someone who I probably jumped on a little bit later than what I probably should have. But again, you can assess these championship players and see how well they do. Now, there are some exceptions like Leeds where they proved that even in cup competitions, when they played against the likes of Arsenal, in like, I think it was the FA Cup or whatever it was, that they could definitely compete, you know, on a top tier front like the Premier League. So I think Buendia, definitely a sell for me. Honorable mention for the sells this week would probably just be Tsimikas, I would say, just if you wanted to get that extra 0.1 million if you've had him from the beginning, and go for the likes of Livramento to get you that little extra value in your team that you can hang on to, because he'll probably go back down in price once the likes of Robertson, who will almost certainly start in Game Week 3 versus Chelsea, and then Tsimikas will just go back down to his original price when players realize that he's no longer starting. So a bit unfortunate there, but hopefully Buendia can come good in future game weeks when he has a better run again. But I think it's definitely a sell for me. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Who would you buy? Who would you hold? And who would you sell from your FPL teams? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's going to do it for this one. And that is going to do it for our Game Week 3 buy, hold, sell edition here. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn that notification bell on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL related news or price changes, as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can join us for our live streams on our preview and deadline streams. We'll be doing preview streams typically at the beginning of the week on Mondays at 7 p.m. EST, and the deadline streams will either be 1 hour before the FPL deadline if it's on Saturday, or on Thursdays if the FPL deadline is on a Friday. So make sure to tune in for that. Usually the next FPL stream will be in a pinned comment down below. So in this case, it'll be Game Week 3's deadline stream, which will be up 1 hour before the FPL deadline over on Twitch. And lastly, make sure to take exclusive advantage of the link in the description below for Fantasy Football Scout. 20% off your yearly membership so that you can get access to Opta stats and creating custom tables and all the useful tools that they have over in the FF Scout members area. The offer lasts until this Sunday, the 29th, so make sure to use the link down in the description below so you can get 20% off your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It's going to help elevate your FPL game. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.